Hello everyone, welcome to the Financial Information Channel. My name is Marvin. In this video I'm going to give you the weekly earnings. I'm going to recap the earnings that happened last week, and in addition I'm going to give you the information about the companies that will report next week. So let's begin with the video. And the first company that reported earnings last week was Paychecks, and Paychecks beat the EPS. However, it missed on the revenue. Paychecks beat the EPS by 2 cents and missed on the revenue by 3.78 million. Their revenue year to year is positive with 4%. And the reason why the company started to move higher was because the guidance was really strong for the next quarter. Usually this company had moved down after it had beat the EPS and revenue during the last 3 quarters. Now the next company that reported earnings was MONSATO. Now MONSATO beat the EPS and revenue. MONSATO beat the EPS by 61 cents and the revenue by 160 million. Their revenue year to year is positive with 5.1%. And MONSATO expects strong sales for the generically modified soybeans, and that is one of the reasons why many investors don't support this company. MONSATO has a lot of genetically modified foods. However, MONSATO has posted strong numbers in 2017. And the next company that reported earnings was PepsiCo. Now PepsiCo beat the EPS by 4 cents. However, it missed on the revenue by 70 million, and the revenue year to year is still positive with 1.3%. Now PepsiCo is in an environment that is facing a lot of challenges. And as you know, the soda beverages sales has slowed down a lot in the United States. But just like I mentioned in the top 5 dividend stocks, this company has a lot of brands under its portfolio, and it has a good dividend, so the company might not give you a higher return, but the dividend is really good. Now for the next company was the number 1 stock that I mentioned during July, and this company doesn't have the same problem that PepsiCo, and that company is Constellation Brands. And Constellation Brands beat the EPS and revenue. Constellation Brands beat the EPS by 30 cents and the revenue by 20 millions. Their revenue year to year is 3%. And they actually had another really good quarter. The net sales were up 3%. The gross margin were up 350 basis points. And when that happens, the free cash flow is going to improve a lot. And the share for this company started to move higher. Now the next company is Jhansi Holdings. Now Jhansi Holdings missed the EPS and beat the revenue. Now Jhansi Holdings missed on the EPS by 4 cents and beat the revenue by 60 millions. And the revenue year to year is 8.5%. And this company moved down after reporting the earnings, but now it's back to the regular price. And the last company to report earnings last week was Costco. Costco had a really good quarter. It beat the EPS and revenue. Costco beat the EPS by 6 cents and it beat the revenue by 750 millions. And the revenue year to year is 15.7%. And the comp sales were up. The comp sales were up 5.7%. The comp sales were up 5.8% in the United States and 4.8% in Canada. And the membership fees were up 13%. But you have to take a look at the guidance, and that is one of the reasons why the company moved down. And the company mentioned in the earnings call that the memberships were slowing down. Costco has most of its revenue through the memberships. So a lot of investors are panicking and thinking that Amazon is going to take over in this space. And now we're going to take a look at the companies that are going to report next week. And the first company is Barracuda Networks, and this company is in the IT security and data protection. And the company will report earnings on October 10 after the stock market closes. And Barracuda has gone up over 20% in 2017. But now let's take a look how the company has done after the earnings. It has beat the EPS 3 out of the last 4 times, with the other time in line, and the revenue 4 out of the last 4 quarters. But the share price has only moved twice during the last 4 quarters. And I think this company will beat the EPS and revenue, but the guidance will dictate if the company moves up or it moves down. Now let's go to the next company, and that company is going to be Citigroup. That is going to be the first bank that reports next week. Citigroup will report on October 12th before the market opens. Citigroup has moved over 27% in 2017. But now let's take a look how the company has done during the earnings. And it has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 times and the revenue 3 out of the last 4 times. But out of those 4 quarters, only once the company had moved up higher after reporting earnings. And I think Citigroup is gonna beat the EPS, it's gonna beat the revenue, and this time it's gonna probably move higher. And now for the next company that will report earnings next week, it's gonna be Dominos Pizza. Now Dominos Pizza will report earnings on October 12th before the market opens. And Domino's Pizza has moved higher, around 28% in 2017. And the company has done really well, except last quarter during the earnings. The company has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 times, and the revenue 4 out of the last 4 times. And 3 out of those 4 times, the company share price has moved higher. The last time that the company reported earnings, the company shares actually moved down. The international growth was a little bit of concern for this company, and I think they will probably have fixed that issue, and I think it's gonna be the EPS, the revenue, and the share price might continue setting new highs. Now the next company that will report earnings is JPMorgan Chase. The company will report earnings on October 12th before the market opens. The company had moved around 12% in 2017, but now let's take a look how the company had done during the earnings. And as you can see, the company has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 times and the revenue 4 out of the last 4 times. But the share price has only moved once out of those 4 quarters. And I think the company will beat the EPS and revenue, and the share price might move a little bit higher. And JPMorgan Chase was the number 1 stock that I mentioned during August because I think it has the best balance sheet, best revenue among the banks. And now for the next company that will report earnings is Bank of America. The company will report earnings before the market stock opens on October 13. And Bank of America has gone up around 18% in 2017. And it has done really well during earnings. It has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 times and the revenue 3 out of the last 4 times. And only twice during those 4 times the company shares have moved higher. And this is one of the stocks that is going to benefit the most if we get another interest rate hike. Now for Bank of America, I think it's going to beat the EPS, beat the revenue, and the share price is going to go higher. Now for the next stock, it's going to be First Republic Bank. First Republic Bank will report earnings before the market opens on October 13. The company had moved around 13% in 2017. And this company, just like the other banks, it had done really well during the earnings. It had beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 times and the revenue 3 out of the last 4 times. And the share price has moved up only twice out of the last 4 quarters. And I think it's going to beat the EPS revenue, and the share price might move a little bit after they report earnings. Now for the next company is PNC, and PNC will report earnings on October 13 before the stock market opens. PNC has gone up around 16% in 2017, and PNC has done really well during the earnings. It has beaten the EPS 4 out of the last 4 times and the revenue 3 out of the last 4 times, with 1 in line. And the shares have moved only twice out of the last 4 quarters. And just like the other banks, I think it's gonna beat the EPS, beat the revenue, and the share price might move a little bit after the company report earnings. And the last company to report earnings next week, that is a bank, is Wells Fargo. And now Wells Fargo will report earnings before the stock market opens on October 13. Wells Fargo has been positive with 0.85% in 2017. Now in terms of the earnings, the company has beaten the EPS 3 out of the last 4 times, and the company has only beat the revenue only 1 time out of the last 4 quarters, with 1 in line. And the share price has moved up only 1 time out of those 4 quarters, and the company had to deal with a lot of issues in the past. I think it's gonna beat the EPS and miss on the revenue, and I think the share price might continue moving down. However, I think the company will post really good guidance, and I think this company has the most potential to move up during the next few months. And those are the companies that will begin the earnings season next week. And that is gonna be everything for the video. Please leave in the comment sections if you have any stocks mentioned in this video. And for me, the company that I have shares is Constellation Brands, JPMorgan Chase, and some shares of Bank of America. And don't forget to subscribe to the financial information channel. I'm going to continue bringing videos about the stock market, personal finance, and how to make money online. I want to thank you once again for watching the video. Have an excellent day and take care, my friends.